press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, we have been discussing about the chapter heat, and so far we have learned what is heat and what exactly is this temperature. So what is temperature? Temperature is the measure of hotness or coldness of an object, and it is measured by using thermometer. Okay, so basically there are two types of thermometers to measure this temperature. Okay, and we have studied what are these two types. We have discussed briefly about this clinical thermometer. Okay, this is the thermometer with a range of 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, right? So this is the range of the temperature of a clinical thermometer, and the normally human body temperature falls is 37 degrees Celsius, which fall under this range. That is the reason we use clinical thermometer to measure the body temperature of this human beings, right? So this is the range of clinical thermometer, and we have learned the construction, right? The different parts of the of this thermometer, that is the bulb, kink, and it is nothing but a narrow, long glass tube, right? So what is the reason the kink is present? Yes, the use that the kink, that is the bent structure, okay, the bent structure present in this thermometer. Okay, so this is the bent structure present in the thermometer. Okay, that is used to prevent the falling back of mercury. Okay, mercury is the liquid metal, which is a non-metal used in this thermometer. Okay, and there is a shiny thread all along this thermometer, that is the mercury. Okay, so this is about the construction of clinical thermometer, and we have also seen that how to read a temperature in this clinical thermometer, isn't it? We have also seen about the precautions to be taken while handling a clinical thermometer. Okay, so in today's class, let us see about the other type of thermometer, that is laboratory thermometer. Okay. So as far we have seen that temperature range of this clinical thermometer is 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, right? So the minimum temperature is this clinical thermometer can read is 35, right? 35 to 42 degrees Celsius. Okay, so what happens when this clinical thermometer is used to measure the, for example, boiling point of water. So what is the boiling point of water? 100 degrees Celsius, right? This 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of water, right? But the minimum temperature or the maximum temperature this clinical thermometer can read is 35 to 42, we know. But the boiling point of this water is 100 degree. If we use this clinical thermometer to measure the boiling point, what happens? The maximum temperature it can read is 42, but the boiling point of water is 100. So it cannot read this temperature. Okay, when we use this clinical thermometer, is a glass tube. Okay, it cannot handle this much temperature. It just breaks. Okay, and we cannot use this clinical thermometer. Okay, so not only about this water, we use, we need to know about the temperature of different objects, right? Not only about the temperature of human body, isn't it? We need to know, or we have to study the temperature of many other objects, like even the normal temperature of water. Okay, the normal, a glass of water, not only hot or cold. Okay, even the cold items, ice cream or something, even the temperature of day or night. Okay, or the hot cup of tea or coffee. Okay, like that. Okay, there are many objects we got to know, but we cannot use this clinical thermometer since it has a restricted range of just 35 to 42 degree. This is the reason we use the laboratory thermometer. Okay, so what is the range of this laboratory thermometer? That minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degree Celsius. Okay, it has a broader range than that of the clinical thermometer. Okay, see, we can even use it to measure the temperature of cold things. See, it is the minimum range of this laboratory thermometer is minus 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, minus 10 to 110 degrees Celsius. See, we can even check the temperature of boiling water. Okay, since the maximum is 110 degree Celsius. Okay, so because of its broad range, we can use this thermometer to measure most of the objects. Okay. Now the question is, see, the normal body temperature of human beings is 37 degrees Celsius, we know. And okay, the minimum to maximum temperature what human body might get is 35 to 42, which still comes under this range, right? It is minus 10 to 110 degree Celsius. Okay, and the range of human body temperature what we have is 35 to minimum 35 or to maximum 42 degrees Celsius. Okay, so why can't we use this thermometer itself to measure our temperature? Okay. Okay, so we'll see why can or why can't we use this laboratory thermometer. So let us see the reading of laboratory thermometer. Okay, so how to read the temperature of the construction. Okay, basically both these thermometer, that is both clinical and laboratory thermometer, construction remains same. Okay, it is a glass tube. Yes, even this has a bulb structure. Okay, even in this mercury is used. Okay, so the most important features of this laboratory thermometer is that okay, even this has a structure bulb, okay, which has to be connected with the body. Okay, and even this contains mercury, metal, non-metal used in the thermometers. Okay, and even this is a long narrow glass tube. Okay, and the most important thing is it doesn't have the structure kink. What is this kink? This is the bent structure. Okay, bent structure present in the thermometer. What is the use of this? That it it prevents the falling back of mercury. Okay, so it doesn't have the structure kink. So when we are using this, since it doesn't have kink, okay, so when we are using the laboratory thermometer, the body temperature, okay, body or the temperature of any object can be measured, okay, can be read or can be taken only when it is in the contact of the object. Okay, so what are the objects I am talking here is, for example, we'll take okay, so let this be the thermometer. Okay, okay. Okay, let this be a laboratory thermometer. to okay, it still has mercury. Okay, so the basic function remains the same. Okay, this bulb itself is kept in the contact of the hot body. Okay, and then due to the increase in temperature, bulb gets heated up. Okay, that is the mercury present in the bulb. It gets heated up and it expands, and the level of mercury rises. The basic function remains same, but the difference is, yes, it doesn't have a structure kink. So the important point you have to remember here is, whenever the temperature has to be measured, the temperature is measured, or the temperature of the object is read only when it is in contact with the object. Okay, so in clinical thermometer what we did is we kept the thermometer below the tongue, right, and because of the increase in body temperature, the bulb, okay, this bulb got heated up and the mercury level rises. Okay, and soon after we take this thermometer out, and due to the presence of kink, the mercury level does not go back. Okay, and hence after removing we can just read the thermometer. Since it does not have kink, so what happens, whenever the thermometer, whenever we are using this thermometer to measure the temperature of any object, when we take it out to see the temperature, okay, when we take it out to see the temperature, what happens, since it does not have kink, the mercury level, soon after taking the thermometer out, the mercury level falls down. Okay, because it doesn't have kink, that is a bent structure which prevents its falling back of mercury. Okay, since it doesn't have kink, okay, so we cannot read the temperature of this thermometer after removing it. Okay, so the thing is, we can read, okay, we can see, or we can measure the temperature of any object using this thermometer only by keeping it in the object itself. Okay, while the thermometer is in contact with the object, only when we can read this temperature. Okay, after removing, or after getting that object out, we cannot see, we cannot read the temperature, since it does not have kink. Clear? Here the bulb present in this thermometer, this shouldn't be in contact with the container. One of the most important feature again is, the bulb present in this thermometer shouldn't be in contact with the container. Okay, container or any object we are using. Here I have taken hot water. Okay, so when I am measuring the temperature of hot water, this bulb, okay, this structure shouldn't touch the container. Okay, the whatever object or whatever thing we are about to get the temperature of, that should surround this bulb. Okay, so this is the bulb, right? So what we are trying to do is, we are trying to measure the temperature of water. Okay, so water should surround this bulb, that's it. So whatever, if we are measuring a cup of coffee, okay, a hot cup of coffee, we just need to hold this thermometer straight, right, and we'll get the temperature. Okay, we should not touch the end or any side of this container. Okay, instead the bulb should be surrounded by the object or whatever the thing, whatever the fluid we are getting the temperature of. Okay, so this is one of the most important point, that bulb shouldn't touch this container. Okay, and this container, the whatever the fluid or whatever the thing we are measuring should surround this bulb. Okay, so that it can read the temperature. Again the basic function remains the same. So when if the water is the water is hot, okay, because due to this increase in temperature, that is due to the temperature of water, this bulb gets heated up, okay, and the mercury present in this expands and level rises, okay. So wherever the level rises or wherever the mercury stops, that temperature is the temperature of this water. Again the reading also remains the same, okay. How did we read the clinical thermometer? Seeing the lines, right, seeing the short lines, that how much degree difference is between the two short lines, right. So the reading remains same. It's just that this thermometer, this laboratory thermometer should be kept straight, okay. Should be upright. Okay, this is how it is used, upright or straight. By we can just hold this thermometer with our hand itself, to measure the glass or coffee. But if it is some other object, we cannot just keep on holding this thermometer. So we can just use a stand and we can just fix this thermometer. Okay, we can just fix this thermometer and whatever object, okay, whatever object we got to measure, any object or any material, we can just fix this and we can just change this. But this thermometer has to be fixed and it cannot be tilted, okay. This should be upright and it cannot be tilted, okay. In clinical thermometer, what we did is of course we kept the thermometer in the mouth below the tongue and we took it out, right. We just can with flexibility we just used it, right. We just kept the thermometer in the mouth, we took it out, okay. We just kept it parallel to the eye and we read it. But we cannot do the same with this laboratory thermometer. This has to be used upright, okay. This has to be straight itself, because again the reason is it doesn't have kink, okay. So whenever we tilt it or whenever we move this thermometer, mercury level changes, okay. Mercury level dilates, okay. It doesn't detect the same temperature what it used to detect when it was in the contact of this any object, okay. So the only reason is it should be kept upright, that is straight, or it cannot be tilted like we did with the clinical thermometer is because it doesn't have kink, okay. Because if it is not kept straight or if it is tilted, the mercury level changes, okay. It won't remain the same, okay. So it's hard to detect the temperature of any object, okay. So that is the reason it should be kept only straight or fixed and it should not be moved or tilted, okay. So these are the main characters or main features of this laboratory thermometer, okay. The temperature is measured only when it is in contact with an object. Yes, again the reason remains the same, because it does not have kink, okay. So it has temperature is seen only when it is kept in the object. Soon after we keep this thermometer to measure the temperature of this water. Due to the temperature of this water, the bulb gets heated up, the mercury present in that gets heated up and it expands, okay. The mercury level rises and there is a noticeable change in there is a noticeable shift in the mercury, okay. So we can just see it and say, okay. So this is how the temperature is read, and the bulb shouldn't be in contact with the container, okay. So if it is in contact with the container, what happens, even there is some temperature of this container also, right. So that is how we cannot even detect the temperature if the bulb is in contact with the container or any side of this container, okay. So the bulb has to be surrounded, okay, surrounded by the liquid or any object what we are measuring the temperature of, okay. And one more thing is that yes, it should be upright, okay. It should be upright, kept straight by using by holding with our hand, or a fixed stand is placed to hold this thermometer, okay. This thermometer should not be tilted. Okay, this is about the construction of this thermometer, and yes, again the reading remains the same, okay. We need to see the short lines, okay, and the temperature difference between them. When this mercury level rises, so where the mercury level has stopped, we can just read the temperature. So the basic construction and temperature remains the same, but the major difference is it doesn't have kink. Okay, that's why its uses differs. Okay, so this is about the laboratory thermometer. Okay, and now the question is, yes, when it has the range of the same, the 35 to 42 degree, that is the range of a human body, right? So which falls under this temperature, -10 to 110 degrees Celsius. Then why can't we use this laboratory thermometer? It's again because there is no kink present in it. Yes, so what we did is we kept this clinical thermometer in the mouth, okay? We cannot just read keeping it in our mouth. We took it out and we measured or we read the temperature. But we cannot do the same with this laboratory thermometer. Because there is no kink, and soon after if we remove this thermometer, mercury level changes, okay? Mercury shifts. That is the reason we cannot just use this thermometer, and yes, because of that it has to be kept upright itself. It cannot be tilted. Okay, so without tilting or without moving the thermometer, how can we measure the temperature of our body? Right. So those are the reasons we cannot use this thermometer to measure the body temperature of human beings. Okay. So apart from the measuring the temperature of human beings, this can be used to measure the temperature of any object. Like I said, we can measure the temperature of water, coffee, tea, ice creams also, okay, because it has range, okay, the minimum range is -10. So even the cold things we can measure. Okay, so these are the basic uses of this laboratory thermometer, and the reasons that we cannot use this thermometer to measure the human body temperature is it doesn't have the structure kink, and it should be holded upright always, and it cannot be tilted. So these are the features which makes it unfit to measure the temperature of human body. Clear? So this is all about the laboratory thermometer. Now let us see what are the precautions of this laboratory thermometer. Yes, again most of the precautions remains same because basic construction and function is almost similar. Okay, so since even this is a glass tube, we need to handle it with care. Okay, because the liquid present in that is again mercury, right? So if it is a glass tube, there is a negligence or using this thermometer, if the glass tube breaks, okay, the mercury, handling this mercury, okay, so this mercury is very poisonous and dangerous, it is very harmful. Okay, so the maintenance of this mercury becomes a tedious task. Okay, so this thermometer has to be maintained or handled with care because of the presence of mercury. Again, even this should be washed before and after use. Okay, so even this thermometer has to be washed before and after use. Yes, again the important precaution we need to take is hold the bulb without touching the container, and it should be Clear? This point we have discussed that the bulb, okay, the bulb should not touch the container and it should be surrounded by the object, okay, from all the sides. So while we were discussing that to measure the temperature of water, the bulb was surrounded by the water completely, right? So that is how it has to be used, okay. The bulb should not touch the container or any side of the container. It is just should be surrounded by the object. For example, water, like what we have seen earlier, okay. So that is how the bulb should be, maintenance of bulb should be taken care of. And again this thermometer should not be tilted, okay. And again the reason remains the same, okay, because no presence of kink, okay. This thermometer has to be kept upright, okay. Those are the precautions we need to take. If we just tilt or if we move the thermometer, there is a change in the movement of mercury, because it is a liquid, it can just flow, okay. So to prevent this has to be kept upright, okay. This has to be kept upright and it should not be tilted like we did in clinical thermometer. Okay, so these are the precautions to be followed by or while using the laboratory thermometer. Clear? So this is about both the clinical and laboratory thermometer. Now let us see. So what is the material used inside both the thermometers? Mercury, right? So why only mercury is used? Okay. The question is why mercury? What makes mercury so special to use in these thermometers? We use mercury in both clinical and laboratory thermometer. Why not other objects? Why only mercury? Okay, so what is the demand for mercury for using in this thermometer? So what are these characters? Let us see. This mercury is liquid at room temperature. Okay. This mercury is liquid at room temperature. Suppose the material what we use is solid. Okay. So solid, does it move? No. Okay, so we want something which moves. Okay, why? Because we need to see, right, what is the movement here when the bulb is kept in a contact of tongue or in the human body or any object. Because of the heat, okay, because of the heat the mercury it expands, okay, and the level rises. The level rises because it is liquid. If it was some solid or something, it wouldn't have been rising, right? So the solid doesn't rises. This is the most important feature which makes flexible to use this mercury in both the thermometers. Okay, this mercury is liquid at room temperature. Okay, so whenever we use this thermometer, since it is liquid, the level rises and we can you noticeably see the temperature. Okay, so that is the most important thing of this mercury, and it has high coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, so what is this expansion mean? Expansion means anything which increases in its volume. Okay, so expansion means anything which increases in its volume. So what does thermal mean? Thermal means due to heat. thermal is nothing but heat. Okay, so what does this mean? So whenever thermometer is kept in contact with an object or human body or any object, okay, so due to the heat, okay, due to the increase in the temperature, what happens? The level of mercury rises. Okay, that is, it expands. So that is what expansion means. Anything which increases in volume. Okay, so the mercury level rises up, it expands. Okay, why does it expands? It expands due to the presence of heat, right? Due to the increase in the body temperature, or due to the increase in the hotness of water, or due to the presence of heat. Basically, this mercury level rises. Okay, that is what thermal expansion means. Expansion means, yes, level of rising up, and thermal is the expansion when it is due to the presence of heat. It is called thermal expansion. This mercury has high coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, and even there is a slight increase in temperature, this mercury, mercury expands. Okay, if now if my body temperature is like normally if it is 37 degrees Celsius, okay, if there is just a slight increase in temperature, 37.5 or 38, okay, just a simple, okay, or even lesser than that, even there is a slight change in the temperature, this mercury can detect it. Okay, so that is the reason it has high coefficient. That is what means high coefficient of thermal expansion means. Okay, it expands when there is heat, and even if there is a slight increase in temperature, this mercury can detect it. Okay, so this is what the main reason. And also, if metals or anything or any material used is of low coefficient of expansion. Okay, if any material is used which has very low coefficient of thermal expansion, then even if there is increase in temperature, it hardly can detect. Okay, it cannot detect the rising temperature because it has low expansion. Low expansion means when there is increase, or when there is a slight or very low increase in temperature, it cannot detect, right? So this mercury has high coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, this can easily detect when there is a just even a slight high temperature. Okay, so that is what one of the main feature of this mercury, and it has low melting point. So what is the mercury melting point of mercury? That is minus 38.83 degree Celsius. Okay, so what happens? Yes, we use this mercury because it is liquid at room temperature, right? So that is the normal feature of this. Normally this is how mercury is present. Okay, it is liquid, but it can even melt. Okay, but usually it does not melt during the normal temperature. Okay, because the melting point, okay, the mercury starts melting only when the temperature is minus 38. Okay, minus, if it is this cold, okay, if it is this much cold in the atmosphere, okay, minus 10 or minus some 4-5 degrees Celsius we cannot handle, right? So if only this mercury melts when it is 38, minus 38.83, almost 39 itself. Okay, if it is this cold, only then mercury melts. Okay, so this is not the favorable condition in the atmosphere. Okay, this usually does not present in the atmosphere, right? Usually the atmospheric temperature might be 25 to 30 or 32 or even more when it is summers or something. So this range hardly we get. So that is why it does not melt. Okay, and the boiling point of mercury is very high. That is 356.73 degrees Celsius. Oh my god, see, this high temperature we need to again melt or to rise, okay, to the level of this mercury, to vaporize the level of mercury. 356.73 degrees Celsius, again which is hardly possible in the normal atmosphere. Okay, so that is the reason this mercury stays liquid itself at room temperature, because we do not have this extreme temperatures in the atmosphere. Okay, this minus 38 and this 356.73 degrees Celsius is hardly possible naturally in the atmosphere, so it remains the same. Okay, so these are the characters of this mercury which makes mercury the most favorable or desirable to be used in the thermometers. And again, yes, it has shiny appearance. Mercury is present all along the thermometer, right from the bulb till the end of this thermometer, and when there is rise, it is a shiny thread like thing present all along the thermometer. So whenever this mercury level rises, we can easily notice, there is a noticeable change in the temperature. Okay, so we can easily see it because it is shiny in appearance. Okay, so these are the features or characters of the mercury which makes it very favorable or very desirable to be used in thermometers. Okay, so it is liquid at room temperature, yes of course, and it has high coefficient of thermal expansion. It expands due to the presence of or increase in heat. Also, it has a very low melting point and very high boiling point. Okay, so these are the extreme temperatures which a mercury has and makes it difficult to melt or to vaporize this mercury. So that is the reason it is used in the room temperature, and it has a shiny appearance, okay, which makes us to easily notice the change in the temperature. Okay, so this is about the mercury. And apart from all these benefits, all these uses, yes, it does have a disadvantage or the risk. That is, yes, we have already discussed this, that this mercury is highly poisonous. And again, the most important disadvantage is this mercury is highly poisonous. Okay, so this is the reason we have been taking the precautions in both clinical and laboratory thermometer, right? If it is poisonous, and since those thermometers are glass tubes, if it breaks, okay, this mercury gets released in the atmosphere. Okay, then it becomes very dangerous and harmful to the atmosphere, right? So we need to prevent this, or we need to handle it with very care without breaking this glass tube. It is very poisonous. Apart from preventing and handling it with care also, we use one more material, that is alcohol. Okay, so even this alcohol, yes, it is liquid at room temperature and it does have high coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, so these both are very important terms we need to think. Okay, so when we are using some material, so these are the two major points we got to remember, that it should be liquid at room temperature because we need the flow, we need the mobility, right? We need to see the change when it comes in contact with the body temperature. So this is why again alcohol is used. And one more thing is, it has a very high coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, it works same as mercury. When there is a slight change in the temperature, slight increase in temperature, this alcohol detects it and yes, it flows, it expands. Okay, so this is so that is why nowadays alcohol is used. Okay, apart from this mercury, since it is very poisonous and dangerous. And again, digital thermometers are in use, which do not use any liquid. Okay. So to overcome this disadvantage of this mercury, we use either alcohol instead of mercury, or we are in use of digital thermometers. Okay, so this is all about the thermometers, both clinical and laboratory thermometer. Okay, so again the construction and reading of the thermometer remains same between this clinical and thermometer, laboratory thermometer. So the major difference is with the presence of kink. Since there is no kink in laboratory, there is differences in using these thermometers. Okay, so this is all about today's class, and in the next class we'll see we'll discuss this chapter in further. Okay, so thank you.